Hey guys, so we're going to be moving on to talking about the effects of alcohol and tobacco on your body. So your job is to fill in the worksheet found on this same page that you found this lecture. While the requirement is only to fill in the effects of tobacco and alcohol on those body parts, there will be some other things like terms and things that we go over in this presentation that you might want to at least make sure you know, or you can write in your notes so that you are prepared for the test, because there's quite a few terms and things from this that will be on the test. So just first of all, going over what a drug is. Medicine or other substance that has a physiological effect when ingested or otherwise introduced to the body. So physiological is like physical. A lot of drugs have the physical effect. There's also major psychological effects. And you'll find that out as we move on to the illicit drug portion of the class, which will come next after spring break. All right, so I just mentioned this term illicit. Illicit means illegal, so you can see some examples. I think you can kind of form a longer list there from what you've heard of, and then legal would be licit. So the ones that you guys have already learned about, the prescription meds, over the counter, and then vaping. I guess it just depends on the age, though. We don't really cover that because you should know what peer pressure is. Addiction is the condition of being physiologically dependent towards a specific substance, thing, or activity. I do want to point out, though, that there are some things that one can be psychologically addicted to. So physiologically would be like physically you need the drug. Psychologically, you think you need the drug to survive, but you really don't. Tolerance. So tolerance is basically like, let's say you start out taking some kind of drug, and then eventually you're going to need more and more of that drug just to feel, honestly, it's just to feel normal. It's not even to feel high anymore. I actually have a chart for this. So you'll see, like, let's use an illicit one. So like cocaine. Say someone takes cocaine for the first time, they're going to be up here. They're going to feel high. It'll be like, it'll blow their minds with how high they get. But notice what the chart does. You go below your normal, and then they'll continue, because no one likes to feel that way, right? So they'll continue taking it, but they're developing the tolerance. So eventually, they're taking the drug just to feel normal. I've watched a lot of different like documentaries and different things where these drug addicts, like, they don't take it to get high anymore. They take the drug because they need it, or they'll feel like all of the terrible withdrawal symptoms. So that's another term that you're going to need to know, which I have coming up, is withdrawal. We'll talk about that in just a second. Nicotine is the addictive component in cigarettes. You should have learned a little bit about this with the vaping lesson. Okay, so withdrawal, basically you have been taking a certain substance and then you stop taking it for whatever reason. There are some things that you shouldn't just go cold turkey on, alcohol being one of them. If someone is like an alcoholic, it's actually dangerous for them to just stop, so you kind of have to wean yourself off of it. Anyway, so mental withdrawal, you can look through all these different symptoms. They don't look very fun to me. Physical withdrawal, so like, let's just go back to tobacco. Someone using or smoking cigarettes, they might have that nicotine reach their brain quickly, and then they feel good, but it's very short-lived. So they'll start to have like headaches. They might get like irritable. experience nausea, muscle tension. So there's a lot of different things that people can experience with withdrawal. Tar is the black substance that you see, like you've probably seen pictures, and you're actually going to see a picture in a little bit of like a set of lungs where there's the healthy set and then there's like the black set of lungs. It's black because of the tar. And then carcinogens, that's a term you're going to need to know. Carcinogen is a cancer-causing substance. There are like thousands of these in tobacco. Okay, so going on to the notes you actually need to write. For the mouth, this is chewing tobacco, so there's different kinds of tobacco. You know, there's the smokeless, which is chewing, and then of course what we usually refer to with tobacco with smoking it. But you can get some mouth cancers. There's actually a video or two that I have in this slideshow that I want you to watch. I'm not gonna like play them in this presentation, but I recommend you go and watch them. Yellow teeth, cigarette breath. I don't know that many people like the breath smell, but maybe you do. Leukoplakia is this, and it's my understanding a lot of people that chew, so the smokeless tobacco, put themselves at risk, but there are some that can get it from just smoking. So that's leukoplakia, like those little white patches on like your cheek, inside of your cheek, or your tongue. This is one of the videos I want you to go back and watch. You can go and click on the slide link, the Google Slides, all on this same page on Canvas. Same with this. So this guy, you can tell like what's happened here because of chew. This lady, it's over the course of a bunch of different clips. That's how I found them. I couldn't find the whole clip. She just tells her story. She passed away, and she tells her story about how she started smoking at 15, and you can see this right here. This isn't just like to look pretty or whatever. It's like she has a hole. You've probably seen those commercials where there's different people that have a hole in their throat. She had to have surgery because of the cancer, her throat cancer. And so it's an interesting video. I highly recommend go watch her videos. Okay, and then the heart. So it can cause heart disease, heart attacks, increase heart rate and blood pressure. I wanted to point out, because in nutrition we talk about how like our diet can lead to plaque buildup right here, but the same can happen with smoking. So you can have this much space for your blood to flow versus this much. Obviously we want this. Okay. And then the effect on the brain, changes your brain chemistry. Like I mentioned before, the nicotine's going to get to your brain pretty quickly, 7 to 10 seconds. You're going to feel great, but it's going to be short-lived, and then you're going to experience withdrawal. Everyone has different kinds of withdrawal symptoms, but there's generally some of the same with like the nicotine withdrawal, like headaches and trembling and stuff. Okay, and then the lungs. This is what I was talking about earlier. The tar is making that look black. People that have asthma are going to, it's like a double whammy. Like smoking in general will kind of affect your breathing, but if you have asthma already, it's not going to be very good. You might experience mucus, like constant cough. They call it the smoker's cough. It's like an unproductive cough. And then lung cancer. I'm going to talk about emphysema in just a second, actually right here. So there's a couple different things in the lungs I wanted to talk about. One of them is the air sacs called alveoli. There's the word. So they're right here. And the tar actually makes them misshapen, so they wouldn't look like this. I like to think of these, they kind of look like grapes. Sorry if that ruins it for you. But like, think about them kind of looking like raisins. Okay, so like you want them to look like this, but then the smoking misshapens them so they kind of look like raisins. Another thing is there's something called cilia, C-I-L-I-A. And the cilia are what they're like hair-like structures that line your airways. cilia become paralyzed with tobacco, and so they can't catch particles coming into your airways, and so it leads to like infections and different issues because you can't like get out those things that are coming into your airways. Kind of like the unproductive cough I was just talking about. We cough to kind of get things out of our system, but that doesn't really work very well with people that have emphysema and that are longtime smokers. Go and watch this for real. This guy does this video about what it would be, what your inside would look like after smoking a pack a day for a month. It's pretty interesting, so make sure you go and watch this video. Okay, the skin. Everyone's different. I know some people don't allow or let the cigarette to touch their skin. They have different ways of manipulating it so it doesn't, but it could cause yellowing of the skin. You can kind of see like a before and after kind of thing. And then it just causes that dry, wrinkly skin. Think about this, like if this is what's going on the outside, think about what's going on the inside. And that's what we're kind of talking about with all these other body parts. Like you're able to see what's going on the inside of your body. Although there are some things that show outwardly. Okay, the stomach. So in our bodies, insulin is released when we have too much sugar in our blood. That helps to kind of stabilize it. But nicotine slows that down or kind of blocks the release. So what that means, if it's blocked or slowed the release of insulin, is that you're left in this state of hyperglycemia, which is too much sugar. And that acts as an appetite suppressant. So that's why people that smoke, a lot of the times they don't really have an appetite. They don't feel like eating because their smoking has kind of blocked the release of insulin. So they have a ton of sugar in their blood already, and that kind of blocks the desire, the appetite. Here's a list of chemicals found in tobacco. Don't ask me how. It's pretty interesting, but these chemicals, along with all the others, can cause liver cancer. Mainstream smoke is inhaled and exhaled from the smoker. Side stream is kind of from the burning end of the cigarette. Secondhand smoke is kind of, it's just everything together and can be just as dangerous. Secondhand smoke. I just want to point out so that you guys understand the legal age is 19 in Utah. So make sure you understand that. And then we're going to be, so this, I'll cut this video off. You'll have to watch another one for the alcohol effects. Just know that tobacco and smoking is a stimulant, speeds up the nervous system, the central nervous system. And then alcohol is a depressant. So we'll be talking about alcohol, and you'll fill out the alcohol side